Namo Namaha students. Hello, I am Kirti Raje. Students, you will be now stepping into a very important year of your life, that is 10th standard. Everybody says it's really very important and you to know that this year is really very important. So now students, as we know this very well, a compass plays a very important role to get the right direction. The further explanation that you're going to hear will also do the same role of the compass. It's going to give you a direction about Sanskrit paper because everybody says it's a scoring subject. So what are we going to do? We will be helping you to understand to make this subject a scoring subject. So students, now what are we going to do? We will be understanding the paper pattern of Sanskrit. So here we have a Kriti Patrikayaha Prarupam of the Sanskrit Aamod, which has Gunankaha Shatam, that means 100 marks, and it has Hora Trayam, that means 3 hours allotted to it. So what we'll do now is we will understand Vibhagaha by Vibhagaha all the sections of the paper. So the Prathama Vibhagaha, which is of the Sugam Sanskritam, is having 15 marks allotted to it. What are we going to have over here? This is going to check your vocabulary. So let's understand the Prashna and the explanation to it. So Prashna 1 we are going to have Chitram Drushtva Namani Likhata, wherein we are going to have Panchatah Char Paryaya to be solved. That means here you will be having 5 pictures given and we are supposed to write Sanskrit names to it. If you write 4 correct names, we get 4 marks. The next is Prashna 1A, which is going to be Sankhyaha Aksharaihi Ankaihi Likhata, wherein we are going to have Teenatah Don Paryay. That means 3 will be given. We have to opt for 2. And if you write the correct Sankhya either in number or in words, then we get 2 marks to it. The further one, that is the Prashna 1E, is Samayam Likhata. That means we are going to write the Samay in Sanskrit. Here, there are going to be 2 parts of it and we will be matching the correct Samay along with the number. And now the next one, Prashna 1E, Vasara Talikam Purayata, wherein again you are going to have an option. It is Teentah Don. That means you are going to opt for any 2 out of 3. And if you get a right answer of this Vasara Talika, you get 2 marks. That means you are supposed to write 2 names of Vasara, Marathi Jala Vara Mantat. That Vasara, 2 correct names if you write, you get 2 marks. Further, we have Prashna 1U, which is Udaharana Dvayam Likhata, and here you have Shashtatah Pancha. That means you have to opt for 5 out of 6 and we get 5 marks on it. But what are we going to have over here? It is 2 examples that you are going to write. But which examples? Which can be based on the Varnamala Dharitam, that means based on Varnamala, or it can be Nama Dharitam, based on nouns, or it can be Dhatu Adharitam, that means it can be based on the verbs. So this is what you are going to have in Sugam Sanskritam. This will be checking your vocabulary. But students, at times we have a question. How can we make ourselves better in this particular part? So to answer this question, I am going to show you something. What is that? Here we have one slide on which we can see that this is Samayaha given. Okay, so now here we have a timing which can be seen with all its possibilities. It can be from 7 o'clock till 7:55. If you practice in this way, then surely it's going to be beneficial for you because now you are seeing all the possible timings. So let any time comes in the exam, we are ready for it. And that's where the target notes are surely going to help you with this because this is the way a topic is well explained in the notes. Okay, we are moving towards the Dvitiyaha Vibhagaha, which is of Gadyam. This has 22 marks. Let's understand how. This is going to be the Prashna Don O and A. We have 2 passages, each of which is going to be of 7 marks. And what are the questions that will be asked under it? Let's understand. It's going to be Avabodhanam Char Tahatin. That means 4 Krutis will be asked and out of that 3 you have to answer. But what are those Krutis? Let's understand. The ko out of that is Uchitam Karanam Chitva vakyam punarlikhata, or it can be uchitam paryayam chitva vakyam punarlikhata. Means what? You will be given a sentence and the question is asked as what is the reason to it, or you have to choose a right paryay out of two and you have to rewrite the sentence over there. The next is kaha kam vadati, which is a very simple question, who said to whom. Then the third is purna vakyena uttaram likhata, you have to answer the question in full sentence. Then the next is vakyam punarlikhitva satyam asatyam likhata, that means whether the given sentence is correct or not, that you have to write. Then the next is eshaha gadyanshaha kasmat patat udhrutah, from which lesson the given gadyansh, the given passage is taken, that we have to answer. This all includes of the avabodhanam part. What comes in the Shabda Jnanam? We have teen tah don. That means 3 krutis are asked, out of which we have to solve 2. What are those krutis? The first one is Dve dhatu sadit avyaye vibhakyanta pade chitva likhata. Either of this will be asked, either dhatu sadit avyay or vibhakyanta pada, that is asked. And out of the gadyansh, we have to choose 2. Then comes Prashna Nirmanam Kuruta. A sentence is given, a word is underlined, and based on that we have to frame a WH question. The third is Visheshanam Vishesham. That means what? Here you need to understand what is an adjective that is used for the noun, and based on that you will have a question. So you need to know the adjective and noun pair over here very well. The next is Sandhihi, which is a very simple question and you know it right from the previous year. Then it is the Lakaram Likhata, a sentence is given, a word is underlined, and then further you have to write that verb belongs to which Lakara. So all this is going to be there in the Shabda Jnanam. So this is what we will have in the Avabodhanam, in the Shabda Jnanam. Further we have the Pruthakkaranam, in which we can have Kramena Yojayata. We'll be having sentences wherein it's not going to be in a particular sequence. You will be writing it in a sequence. Then the next can be Rekha Chitram, which can be there in the exam, or the Kramena Yojayata will be there. Rekha Chitram is going to be the diagram based on that particular Gadyansh. So this is what you are going to have in Pruthakkaranam. Now students, going further, we also have Prashna 2E as Gadyansham Patitva Saralartham Likhata. Now this Saralartha means what? What you have understood from that particular Gadyansh. It is not going to be a literal translation, but the meaning that you have understood, that you are supposed to write. This can be Donataha Eka. That means what? You are going to opt for 1 out of 2, which gets 4 marks. And then this can be based on Natyastabakaha or Nadi Suktam. These are the 2 lessons on which your Saralartha is based. The next is Prashna 2E, Madhyam Bhashaya Uttaram Likhata. Again here you have the option 3 taha 2. That means out of 3 we can answer any 2 and we can get 4 marks for it. Now we have seen that all these can be asked based on Gadyam. But again the question comes, how to prepare for it? How to make this simple? So again we have the answer to this. Let's see. Here we can see that Avabodhanam is given and we can see Avabodhanam has many krutis in it, and we can see multiple questions are there in the notes. So how this is going to help us is, as variety of questions are solved, we get prepared with any question that can be asked based on that particular Gadyansh. That goes same with the next Shabda Jnanam also. Again, variety of questions are asked, and hence this becomes really helpful for us when it comes in the board exams also. Same goes with the Pruthakkaranam. As we solve multiple of diagrams, it becomes easy for us for the board exams. Now, further, as we have seen the Saralartham and Madhyam Bhashya Uttaram Likhatam, Saralartham we know that 2 particular lessons are allotted for that. So, if you prepare them well, the marks are yours. And for Madhyam Bhashya Uttaram Likhata, this is going to be a question wherein you will be answering a question in your own language. Now there students, it needs a skill to write this question. we need to start it properly, we need to have a proper answer to it, and then we need to have a conclusion. So here what helps you is, there's a question in the textbook which is asked in the beginning of the lesson, and students, in the notes you can see that question is very well answered also. Api etat uttarata is answered very well. Further, when you see, all the lessons are parted into different gadyansha, and the saralartha is also given in it. So all this when you club together, it really helps you to form your madhyam bhashaya uttaram likhata. So now we are moving ahead with the next vibhaga, which is the trutiyaha vibhagaha padyam, carrying 20 marks to it. Let's understand the segregation of it. So it is the prashna 3a. We have padyansham patitva nirdishtaha krutihi kuruta, which is having 4 marks to it. And what are the krutis that can be asked? It can be purna vakyana uttaram likhata, as we even had in gadyam. You have to answer the sentence in full sentence. Then the next is padyanshatah visheshanam chinuta. You have to choose the adjective from that particular padyansh, that means the shloka. The next is rekha chitram, which will be based on the padyansh itself. The prashna 3a is what? It's going to have padyansham patitva nirdishtaha krutihi kuruta, again of 4 marks. We have the same question, purna vakyana uttaram likhata. Further we have sandhihi, and the next is madhyam bhashya uttaram likhata dontah ek, that means you get an option, you can solve 1 out of 2 which carries 2 marks. Further we have prashna 3e. Herein you have padye shuddhe purne cha likhata. Now here what do we have is ka kha tah ek, and further you have ga gha tah ek. That means the ka which is having 4 line verses, you get option to it in kha, which is again having 4 line verses. Out of that 2 you can complete any one. And further you have go and go, wherein you have 2 line verses. Out of that 2 you can solve 1. And as it is suggesting that 4 line verses will have 4 marks, 2 line verses will have 2 marks, it goes to complete 6 marks. Further we have the E, that is Anvayam Purayata. This is the proper sequence of a Sanskrit sentence, and that's what you are going to fill, or that's what you are going to do in Anvayam Purayata. You will write the correct sentence in Anvay. The next is Saralartham Likhata. As you had the Gadyansha Saralartha Likhata, same way we have the Saralartham Likhata based on Vachala Prashamsa and Manavta Dharmaha. These two are allotted for Saralartham Likhata. Now this is what we are having in the Padyam. So here also the notes simply keep on helping you. How? Let's understand. We have Purna Vakyana Uttaratam and the further Krutis, that is Visheshanam Chinutam Rekha Chitram, well explained over there. And multiple Krutis are asked. So it actually keeps on helping you to understand and to solve more and more number of Krutis. Sandhi, Anvay, Saralartha are also included over there to understand in a better way. Further we have the Chaturtha Vibhagaha, which is of the Lekhana Kaushalam, having 15 marks. Lekhan Kaushalam, this is going to test the Sanskrit writing of the students. You have to have a perfect Sanskrit writing over here. In that, Prashna 4a, we have Vakya Rashanam Kuruta, having 5 marks given to it. Now, in that, what are we going to have? Dhatu Nam Upayogam Krutva Vakya Nirmanam Kuruta. That means you will be taking that dhatu and you will make a Sanskrit sentence out of it. How many dhatus will be asked? 5 will be asked, out of which we have to solve 3. Gets 3 marks for it. Then you have Amara Kosha Shabdam Yojayitva Vakyam Punarlikhata, having option of Char Taha Don. That means what? We will be having 4 words and then we can solve 2 out of it. The sentence is given, a word is highlighted, and from Amar Kosha we have to replace that word with a suitable word. If you write 2 answers correctly, we get 2 marks for that. Further we have Prashna 4a as Pancha Athva Sapta Vakyatmakam Nibandham Athva Samvadam Likhata. So you get option in writing either the essay or you can even write a dialogue in Sanskrit, which gives you 5 marks. Further we have the Nirdishtaha Kruti Kuruta, in which either the Chitra Varnanam is asked or Sanskritanuvadam is asked. That means what? A picture is given, you have to describe the picture but in Sanskrit, or it can be some sentences and you have to convert those sentences in Sanskrit. There you have an option Ashtatah Pancha. That means what? Out of 8 we can solve any 5. So this all is going to be there in the Sanskrit writing skills. So here also you must be feeling what all questions we can have, which dialogue we can have. So here is example for that. You can have the Samvadam Likhata and many such Samvada are given in the notes. It doesn't end over there. You also have many Chitra Varnanam given over there, which will again assist you to prepare for writing skills in a better way. Now, you must be seeing that Lekhan Kaushalam is taken as a separate part, and you can see all those types of questions which can come under the Lekhan Kaushalam are just taken together, and a different section for Lekhan Kaushalam is given in the notes. Further, we have the next vibhag, that is Panchama Vibhagaha Bhashabhyasah, which is having 20 marks to it. Prashna 5 and from that is Talikam Purtim Kurta. So here you can have the tables, but which tables? Nama, Sarvanama, Kriyapad, Dhatu Sadhit Visheshan, all these can be there and you have to fill it correctly, which each of which carries 2 marks. So it gives you 8 marks in total. Further, you have Prashna 5a. What is that? Nirdishtaha Kruti Kuruta. Here, out of 5 Krutis, we can solve any 4 Krutis and we can get 12 marks. How? Let's understand. The first from that is Yogyam Rupam Likhitva Rikta Sthanam Purtihi Kuruta. That means what are we going to do over there? A numeral Sankhya Vachak is given and there you have to fill the correct Rupa, correct form of that Sankhya Vachak and you get the mark for it. So that is Panchatahatin. That means out of 5 we can solve 3. The next is Samasanam Talika Purtim Kurta. It's going to be a table of the Samasa and you have to write either the name of it and you have to get the marks for it. So it is Panchatahatin. That means what? Out of 5 you can solve any 3 and get the marks for that Samasa. Then Samanarthak Shabdan or Viruddharthak Shabdan Likhata. Again Panchatahatin. That means what you have over here is out of 5 you can solve any 3. These has to be the synonyms or the antonyms, Samanarthak Shabdan or Viruddharthak Shabdan. Further, we have Suchananusaram Kruti Kuruta. So, as the Suchana is given, likewise the answer has to be. Again over here, out of 5, we can solve any 3. Which are those Krutis? Let's understand. It can be Vacha Parivartanam. That means what? We have to change the Vacham, Prayog, either from Kartari to Karmani or from Karmani to Kartari, or it can be Bhave. The next is Tvanta Labanta Avyayam Nishkaseta. We have to remove this Tvanta Labanta and you have to write the correct sentence in place of that. The next is Sma Nishkaseta. Same way you have to remove Sma, but you have to use a right sentence in place of that. Further, Tvam Sthane Bhavan Bhavati Athva Bhavan Sthane Tvam Yojayata. So in place of Tvam, either you have to use Bhavan or Bhavati as it is suitable to the sentence, or it can be vice versa. Further, Vachanam or Lakaram Parivartayata, as the question is asked, you have to either change the Vachanam, that means the Ekavachan to Bahuvachan or Bahuvachan to Ekvachan, or it can be the Lakaram. From any Lakar to whichever the Lakar that is asked, you have to change it. Then the Nijantam Kuruta or the Nishkaseta, that means here any of this can be asked. Either you have to remove the Nijanta and write a sentence which replaces it, or it can be vice versa. Further, we have Vakyam Shuddham Kuruta Panchatahatin. That means what? Out of 5, we have to opt for 3 and you have to write a correct sentence. You have to make it correct. Further, we can see over there, when it comes to grammar, we have so many questions in our mind. If you get explanation, you understand the grammar. If you solve more and more examples, you get confidence to solve the grammar. So here you can see in the notes, there is explanation also. There are n number of examples which are given. So this definitely boosts up the confidence to solve the board paper, and especially in that, the grammar section of the board paper. Now, here also we can see the Bhashabhyasaha part is a special part which we have taken care of. Now going to the further one, it is the Shashtah Vibhagah Apathitam, having 8 marks allotted to it. Apathit, it's not seen, right? So you are going to have this as unseen. So let's see what are the krutis that can be asked. It is the 6th question in that Gadyamsham Patitva Krutihi Kuruta. We have Shashtatah Chatvari. That means what? We have to write 4 out of 6 and you get the 4 marks for it. But what are the krutis? Let's understand. The first one is Purna Vakyena Uttarata. You just have to write the answer in a complete sentence. Or it can be Pratipadikam Likhata, a main word out of that word. Or it can be Vakyam Likhitva, Punar Likhitva, Satyam Asatyam iti Likhata. That means whether the given sentence is correct or not. The Madhyam Bhashaya Saralartham Likhata, you have to write the meaning of that given sentence. Vibhaktantapadam, Avyayam, Kriyapadam, Chinutam. Either of these can be asked and you have to write it correct. Then it can be Karaka Parichayam Kuruta, which Karaka is used in a sentence. That you have to write. Underlined word will be some Karaka and you have to write the answer for it. The next is question 6a. Padyamsham Patitva Nirdishte Kruti Kuruta. That means here you have the Padyamsh is going to be the shloka based on which Purna Vakyena Uttarata is asked. That means out of 2 you have to answer 1. Further we have Visheshan Vishesha Sambandha based on the adjective and noun, or it can be Samanarthakam Shabdam. You have to write the synonym of it, or it can be Virudhartham Shabdam Likhata, which is obviously the antonym of it. And if you write one answer correctly, you get the 1 mark for it. Then further you have the Jala Rekha Chitram Pureta question based on that particular Padyamsh. So that's going to be your Shashtha Vibhagaha Apathitam. You'll say that it can be easy because I'll read it. What about the unseen? So here you can get a good practice of unseen also, as a Gadyamsha is given along with many krutis. Same way Padyamsha is given along with many krutis. That means you have an ocean of the questions and the material to solve over here. So you can even see over here, apart from all this, Sambhasha Patrani, Jidnyasa Patrani, which comes in your textbook, also along with the Abhyas Patram, is taken care in a very good way. Even those you can see as the solved ones, and you will get the answers for all this over there. Now, we know that as is a new syllabus, there was a corrigendum which came further. So, the notes are even updated as per Shuddhi Patram. Going further, when we say we know all these things, we have understood everything. Now, how can we still get a practice before our board exam? So, to test your understanding, there are 2 different Kruti Patrikas which are given at the end of the notes, and apart from that, we have even included the board Kruti Patrika that is of the first year of this syllabus. So, even that is taken care of. So, now when you will be mixing all these things put together, I'm sure the success is going to be yours. Students, just keep in mind, this is Sanskrit. Here writing becomes really very important. So do the writing practice of all the sections, solve more and more krutis from the notes, and also wherever it comes to the shloka, by heart it and write it. So with the writing practice and with the reading practice, I'm sure Sanskrit will give you scoring marks, and rather I'll say will give you full marks. Dhanyavada students.